Good morning. Today is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. Just a reminder, we will not be together tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, but we will continue with the mornings after that. Also, this Thursday night, we will be studying, but at 8 p.m., not 7 p.m. There's a motif of the Mishkan, the sanctuary, whose construction and installation we read about in this week's Torah portion, VaYakhel-Pekudie. And it's a motif that is repeated with one word, Miksheh. Literally, the word Miksheh means beaten, like to take a piece of metal and to beat it into a certain shape. But it refers specifically to making an object out of one single piece of metal, in this case gold, beating it into its correct final form, instead of making components and combining and joining the components. The Torah specifically mentions this process for the kapores, that was the lid on top of the aron, the ark, and from that rose the two kruvim, the two angels with their wings overspread. You can imagine that that's quite a complicated piece of craftsmanship, and the Torah specifies it was not to be done in two pieces, make the lid, and then make the individual angels and connect them, but rather make it all from one large piece of gold. And the menorah. The menorah was extremely intricate. The Torah describes all kinds of different decorations and objects that were formed within its shape. It was very, very difficult. There too, it was not made in sections, which I would assume would be easier, made in sections and then joined together. Rather, it was fashioned from one large piece of gold. The word Miksheh is repeated 9 times in connection with the Mishkan. So this idea, or this process of creating something not from constituent parts, but from one block into an intricate final item, this is a significant motif to be repeated 9 times in the Torah. Now, I have no expertise in craftsmanship or metalworking, and I have no idea what the difference is in the finished product between whether you make it from one piece of metal or you make it from different pieces of metal and join it together. Could be that by doing it all in one piece makes it stronger, makes it look better. I just don't know. It's a little bit hard for me to understand, but again, I say that as one who knows nothing about this topic. It would seem to me, if you're joining together metal, I guess it's being welded or soldered, whatever the correct term is. I would assume it's just as strong. I would assume craftspeople are able to fashion an object and have it look as if it is one, even though it came from constituent separate parts. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there's just an aesthetic or logistical reason for wanting to do that. But at least to my unsophisticated, unknowledgeable mind, it's hard to see what the benefit is from making something from one solid piece instead of constituent pieces. And if that is true, or either way, clearly there is a symbolic meaning to the usage of this term Miksheh and this process of creating something out of one single piece rather than constituent pieces. And we find in the writings of our sages a number of different suggestions of the symbolic or metaphoric meaning of why these items are made Miksheh from one piece. Chief among them is the idea that this suggests to us, that symbolizes to us the unity of the Jewish people and the commonality of all humanity. Let's remember that in the Mishkan and later in the Beis Hamikdash, all nations could bring offerings, and offerings and prayers were offered on behalf of all of humanity, in addition to just on behalf of the Jewish people, and we see that in our prayers today. And so the idea of Miksheh, according to this, means to transmit to us that no matter what else we think, we are joined, we are connected, we are one. Of course, that is a metaphoric understanding. That is a symbolic understanding. It's figurative. Because no matter how close or unified we are, we remain distinct bodies. I have my body, you have your body. I have my personality, you have your personality. Each of us is different. Each of us is unique. Every single person in the world is unique. But at different times, we are given new ways of seeing things. A way of seeing something that in all of history we had never ever seen it this way. And as such, it's almost as if this innovation, this new way of looking at things, is giving us something that we really need at this moment, a new appreciation of something that we've always known and said and studied and tried to feel. But now all of a sudden, we have this remarkable new way, new example, new demonstration of being able to see it. So I want to share with you, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this already, an incredible achievement that started taking place over the last number of years, and it continues to grow. I'm going to share with you the statistics that come from 2015. It has certainly grown beyond that, but these are the latest statistics that I happen to get my hands on. In 2015 was completed the largest personal kidney transplant chain, comprising 70 surgeries. So, let me explain this. To donate an organ like a heart or a lung, according to Jewish law, there is one central question about whether that is permissible. And that is, since a heart or a lung can only be taken from a cadaver after a person, God forbid, has passed away, and normally the scenario where this would happen is in a situation where a person has suffered brain stem death, but their heart is still beating because they're connected to a ventilator. So the question is, according to Jewish law, does Jewish law recognize that patient whose brain stem has died, but their heart is still beating because of a respirator? Does Jewish law recognize that person is alive, in which case it is not only permitted but a mitzvah to donate their organs to save someone else's life? Or, I think I made a mistake. Is that person considered alive, in which case taking their heart and their lungs is an act of murder and is not permitted even to save someone else's life? Or do we see that person, brain stem death but heart still beating because of a ventilator, as having deceased? And therefore, if they're deceased and their organs can be used to save someone else's life, that's the greatest mitzvah of all. And that's a dispute. I've shared with you many times my opinion that I agree with the standard of brain stem death, and I am very much in favor of donating organs according to Jewish law. But let's leave that subject for another time. Because now there is greater and greater ability to donate organs to save someone else's life while we are still alive, to donate in a way that the donor remains alive, not from a cadaver, but from a patient who will survive and recover and be able to go on. And the best example of this is kidneys. You have two, probably. You only need one. So, faced with the question, should I or may I donate a kidney to somebody else, there's really only one question in Jewish law, and that is, am I allowed or should I put myself at some level of risk, the process of donating the kidney, to save someone else's life? And so it is the balance of the risk versus the benefit, which of course depends on the level of risk. Now, today, donating a kidney is a laparoscopic surgery, a minimally invasive surgery, with very little risk for those who are qualified to donate. As well, current medical evidence is clear that living with only one kidney does not increase any future risk. And the process for donating a kidney is quite rigorous, and the criteria are very strict, so that the doctors are trying to make sure that there will be as little risk as possible and as little danger in the future as possible to one who donates a kidney. Several years ago, I wanted to donate a kidney, and I started the testing process, and I was not accepted because my health did not reach certain criteria, although, thank God, I'm in good health, but it's a very, very high standard. Now, of course, it's a major procedure to donate a kidney, and there is significant recovery time for the donor. Okay, we have to take that into consideration, but the benefit for the patient is enormous, because for a patient with kidney failure, that condition is fatal within a few weeks unless the patient goes on dialysis. Now, dialysis means you're connected to a machine for about 4 hours at a time, 3 times a week, forever. Only half the people on dialysis survive more than 3 years. If they get a kidney transplant, then from a live donor, because of course you could take a kidney donated from a cadaver, but a kidney from a live donor works much, much better for the recipient. One who receives a kidney transplant from a live donor, the rate of success is 60% of them are functioning well after 10 years. So it's a very, very considerable difference in life expectancy, life quality. Dialysis itself is a very, very difficult, demanding process. People are on it, have great difficulty being able to go about any kind of normal life. And so it is a tremendous mitzvah for a person who is healthy and meets the criteria for donating a kidney. It is a tremendous mitzvah to donate a kidney to another person. The problem is, going back a few years, again, I don't have the accurate numbers for today, but going back a few years, in the United States, there were 90,000 people on the transplant list waiting to receive a kidney. Only 17,000 of them will receive them each year. And 4,500 patients will die every year waiting for a kidney transplant. And the problem is increased by the fact that there must be a very close match between the donor kidney and the recipient kidney in order not to be rejected. So that means the best possibility is from a close relative like an immediate family member. And very often, a patient in these circumstances has a family member that is willing to donate a kidney, that wants to donate a kidney to save their family member's life, but they don't qualify for one reason or another. And it doesn't match for one reason or another. So here's how a kidney transplant chain works. Works like this. You take a person who wants to donate a kidney to a relative or a friend that they know, but they can't donate to their relative or friend because their kidney is incompatible. What they do is they find somebody else who can receive their kidney, who's compatible with their kidney, a stranger. But that stranger has their own relative who is willing to donate a kidney for their relative but can't do so for the same reason that their kidney is not compatible, but they're willing to donate their kidney to another stranger. In other words, the way this chain works is you donate a kidney to a stranger, and another stranger donates a kidney to your relative or friend. Now, this is a massive effort. The largest one so far was in 2015, and it consisted of 70 surgeries. 35 kidneys donated, 35 kidneys transplanted in 26 different hospitals. Every step has to work flawlessly. It is a momentous feat of technology and skill and logistics. Okay, it's incredible. But what does it take to offer to do something like that? One donor put it this way. You think of the pain someone is in, and imagine you take it from them and give them back good. It's amazing. It's inspiring. Another way to explain this is Miksheh. To understand that we are really connected as one piece. We're not separate pieces stuck together, you and I. Not just symbolically, not just metaphorically, but literally. Here's an example where I am comprised of me and you are comprised of you and me, literally in the same body. Miksheh. One piece. And this is, therefore, a poignant symbol about how we should try to feel about each other and how we should try to act towards each other under all circumstances. But at least we see in a dramatic way what it can actually literally mean. Rav Shanshul Hirsch, on our Torah portion, asked the following question. On Shabbos, we know, we make hamotzi, we say the blessing over the bread, the challah, and we have two challahs, two loaves. Why do we have two challahs? There's more than one answer to this question. Why do we have two challahs? Says Rav Shanshul Hirsch, one for me, one to share with you. And therefore, every time I make hamotzi on Shabbos, I'm always ready, Even if I'm alone, I'm still ready, prepared to be able to share what I have with you, because we are connected. Why did God create us with 2 kidneys if in fact we only need 1? I would say one's for me and one's to share with you. That's the meaning of Miksheh. We are all made of one piece. And God has granted us the technological gift to be able to see it in a new and dramatic way in our time. My friends, I want to wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.